do this. Parents, why do we take vacations with our children?
Amen.
Is there ever a more stressful time in the life of a family than taking a vacation? First, there is the packing. This is stressful because the child unpacks everything that you pack. Parents are trying to remain calm, but psycho mommy and daddy come to visit when you start getting ready for family vacation. And we're going to leave at 8 o'clock. We're leaving at 8 o'clock. We got to get on the road at 8 o'clock. At 11:30, Mom has veins that have never been seen before. Dad is muttering things that are incomprehensible and shouldn't ever be heard by small ears. And then you get in the car. You're in the car. You pull out of the driveway. You head out of the driveway down to the subdivision entrance. You get to the end of the subdivision and you turn left, only to hear from the back seat, "I gotta go potty." Gonna cause mental illness. And then as soon as you get on the road, you know the next one. "Are we there yet?" That's been deemed a swear word in our family. You can't say it. You will suffer severe punishment. Then there's also the "he hit me" line game, the "don't cross my line" game, and the "why is she still staring at me" game. With all of that, imagine what it must have been like for the people of Israel leaving Egypt, going on the biggest road trip with them and 1 million of their closest friends and all their kids. Leaving in the middle of the night, which I give them props for. That was very, very smart, because if you're a parent, you know, leave at night, let the kids sleep as long as possible. Keep the kids. I'm a fan. Now, there's a reason that God designed for man and woman to be married, raising children, because I am a fan of Benadryl. I'm a big, big fan. I would drug my children senseless, but my wife keeps that from happening. There's a reason that there's supposed to be a balance. I'm just telling you. Single parents, you have my pride, my admiration, my props to you, because you have to filter yourself, and sometimes that's really, really hard. Because I just drug them. I drug them completely. 8 hours later, look at it, they're waking up. They're such good children. Imagine the people of Israel pulling out, and by the next morning, they're starting to, the children are starting to wake up, and you got 1 million people, so stopping to go potty starts to become a much bigger deal. This is a logistical nightmare with kids. Mommy and daddy are going nuts. Then they get out of Egypt, and they head right there to the edge of the Red Sea, and God parts the water, and mommy is freaking because she's trying to herd the children. And you know that there's that kid we talked about before that's going up and poking the wall of water. And mom's like, "If you make that wall come down, so help me God." They get to the other side and the stress load is starting to get there. You want to know why the people of Israel complained so much? We don't have water, we don't have food. It wasn't because of the parents. The parents had just reached the max point with the children that it just blew up everywhere. And finally they get to this Mount Sinai. And God comes down and speaks. We've been on this series, the 10 promises of a new life, looking at the 10 commandments. And God comes down on the top of Mount Sinai with fire and smoke and thunder and huge, amazing, glorious thing. And He speaks the 10 commandments, and He starts out, remember we talked about how in Hebrew these are promises. You're not going to have any other gods. And people are like, "Well, dude, we just saw what you did to Egypt." That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, we're with that. That makes sense. You're God. You're the only one. We're with you. Please don't hurt anything. You're there. Yep, we're good. You're it. You're not going to make an image to me because you're not going to be able to understand me. So don't even try to confine me by making an image. I have an adventure for your life, so don't try to confine me. Okay, that makes sense. That's good. Yeah, that makes sense. That's good. Third commandment. You're going to honor my name, my reputation. Because when you experience my freedom, because I am the Lord your God who took you out of Egypt, when you experience this, you're not going to want anything else but me. You're not going to want anything but me. You're going to want, the fact that I have done this is going to be the greatest driving force in your life, and you're going to want everybody to know about it, so that is going to become your passion is my name. Yeah, that's cool. Then it gets to number 4, which is great. Take a day off. Remember to take a day off. Not just a day every week, but also to live a life of rest, because you no longer have to worry about being good enough and working. You can enter into rest and be like, wow, what a cool God this brought. And then God shifts. He shifts from this stuff about his relationship with him and us, and he moves into how we relate to each other. At Exodus chapter 20, verse 12, God speaks again. And you want to know what the parents are saying at this point? Exodus 20, verse 12. Honor your father and mother, then you will live a long, full life in the land the Lord your God has given you. And there's some parent going, did you hear that? I almost killed you before you weren't honoring me. You best listen to me, or you just, all right, short life, I brought you into this world, I can take you out. That's right. Listen to God. Listen to God up there. And remember, it's a promise. You're going to honor, I promise you, you're going to honor your father and your mother. We joke about it, but this is powerful. I mean, think about it. God's got 10 rules. 10 rules he's going to lay down everything for the people. And he lays down these first 4, and they're like, okay, that's cool. And now he moves into the practice of life. And I mean, go crack a law book. You know, there's laws for everything. God's taking the top 10, and he says, okay, the first one, honor your father and your mother. You see, this is incredibly radical because it shifts the entire perspective, the entire paradigm to that of relationships. The first thing that God does when he starts moving from, okay, you and me, is he says, now, you guys with each other. And the first thing he says is he's laying down a foundation of relationship. Because God is completely about relationships. He could have talked about taxation, he could have talked about governance, he could have talked about all kinds of stuff. But where he starts is the development of intimate relationship. You are going to honor your relationships. You're going to enter into relationships. I said earlier that loneliness is one of the greatest problems I see facing people on a regular basis. We feel isolated and alone from each other, and yet we are afraid to enter into